Welcome to Global Nexus. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Let's talk about tariffs. They might sound like something only economists care about, but they have a real impact on your everyday life, especially when you're shopping for things like a new toaster, sneakers, or even your favorite snacks. Tariffs might seem boring, but they hit your wallet hard. Suddenly, the price tags on everyday items start creeping up and you're left wondering why your grocery bill or that new gadget costs so much more than last year. Here's the deal. Tariffs are just taxes on things bought from other countries. When a product crosses the border, the government charges a fee, and that cost gets passed right along to you, the consumer. So if you want those new trainers from Vietnam, or a toaster made in China, the government might slap a fee on them. Who ends up paying that extra cost? You do, every time you check out. Prices go up, and suddenly you're paying more for the same stuff. It's not just luxury goods. Tariffs can make basics like clothes, electronics, and even food more expensive. The idea behind tariffs is to make foreign goods pricier, so you'll buy American instead. This strategy is called protectionism, and it's supposed to help local businesses compete. The Trump administration loved this idea, imposing sweeping tariffs in 2025. They promised it would revive American manufacturing and protect jobs. The hope was simple: make imports expensive, boost American companies, and bring back jobs that had gone overseas. It sounded like a win-win, but reality isn't so simple. The global economy is like a giant game of Jenga. Pull out the wrong block and the whole thing can collapse. Other countries didn't just sit back, they retaliated with their own tariffs. US businesses that rely on imported parts or materials suddenly saw their costs soar, making it harder to stay afloat or keep prices low for customers. Instead of a manufacturing boom, chaos followed. Factories struggled to adapt, and workers faced uncertainty as supply chains broke down. Supply chains tangled, markets wobbled, and businesses everywhere scrambled to adjust to the new reality. In a global economy, you can't wall yourself off without trapping yourself inside. Trying to go it alone can backfire in unexpected ways. The tariff story is a classic case of unintended consequences. America needs the world more than it wants to admit, and global cooperation is often the key to prosperity. For all the talk of self-sufficiency, the US is deeply reliant on imports. Just look around your home, most things come from somewhere else. Start a trade war, and you're just as likely to hurt yourself as your opponent. In the end, tariffs are a reminder that in our interconnected world, every action has a reaction, and sometimes it's your wallet that feels it first. So why did the Trump administration go all in on tariffs? The answer isn't as simple as it might seem. Tariffs became a centerpiece of Trump's economic strategy, and the administration pushed them hard, making them a defining feature of its trade policy. There were two main reasons behind this aggressive approach: the ballooning trade deficit and the growing fentanyl crisis that was devastating communities across the country. The trade deficit is the gap between what America imports and what it exports to the rest of the world. For years, this gap had been growing, raising concerns about American jobs and economic independence. Tariffs were supposed to shrink that gap by making foreign goods more expensive, encouraging Americans to buy domestic products, and giving a boost to US manufacturing and industry. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called this Trump's signature policy: keep American money at home, create jobs, and make things in America again. It was a rallying cry for economic nationalism. The second reason? The fentanyl crisis, which was claiming thousands of lives each year and fueling a public health emergency. The administration argued that tariffs would pressure China to crack down on the flow of this deadly opioid into the United States, using economic leverage to address a life-or-death issue. But tariffs are a blunt tool for a complex problem, like trying to fix a watch with a hammer. They can have unintended consequences and don't always target the root of the issue. These justifications, protecting American jobs and fighting drugs, formed the backbone of the tariff push, shaping the administration's message to the public and Congress. The administration painted tariffs as essential for national security and the long-term health of the US economy, framing them as a patriotic duty. But in reality, the shield turned out to be heavy, causing real problems for the very people it was meant to protect: farmers, small business owners, and workers across America. The world didn't thank America for its tariffs. They fought back. China, the main target, threatened to curb exports of rare earth minerals, vital for everything from smartphones to fighter jets. China controls 80% of the global supply. This move exposed America's vulnerability. You can't build high-tech goods without these minerals. Meanwhile, Canada trolled the US with a viral ad using Ronald Reagan's voice to warn against protectionism. The ad stung, hitting the administration in its ideological heart. Trump was furious, halting trade talks with Canada, but the point was made. The world showed it wouldn't be a passive target in America's trade war. Retaliation came in many forms: economic threats, clever PR, and a clear message: we'll fight back. Nothing makes politicians rethink policy like a crashing stock market. After Trump's tariff threats and China's rare earth counter, markets panicked, stocks plunged, investors fled. Suddenly, the trade war wasn't just politics, it was everyone's 401k on the line. The message from Wall Street: stop this, or we'll take our money elsewhere. The administration quickly shelved the tariff hike. Treasury Secretary Bessent rushed to calm markets, announcing de-escalation. This U-turn showed that market forces, not political will, set the limits. The real power. Global finance, not government bluster. In the end, the markets forced Washington to back down, fast. The tariff saga exposed a hard truth. America is addicted to imports. The dream of self-sufficiency is just that, a dream. The reality is a web of global supply chains. China's threat to cut off rare earth minerals was a wake-up call. Without them, US tech and military production would stall. This dependency runs deep. Cars, electronics, even medicine rely on foreign parts. Tariffs don't create American factories overnight, they just make things more expensive. Business leaders like JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon are sounding the alarm, investing billions to shore up critical industries. The private sector sees the risk over-reliance on imports is dangerous. Tariffs were supposed to fix this, but mostly revealed how deep the problem runs. Instead of sparking a manufacturing boom, tariffs made business harder and costlier. The US isn't a fortress, it's a hub in a global network, and cutting ties hurts everyone. Tariffs aren't just numbers, they hit real people and businesses in ways that ripple through entire communities. Take a small Ohio manufacturer relying on German steel to keep their production lines running and workers employed. A 25% tariff sends costs soaring overnight, forcing tough choices. Do they eat the loss, raise prices for customers, or scramble for a new supplier, risking delays and uncertainty? For many small businesses, there's no easy fix. The pressure mounts, and jobs hang in the balance. Some can't find domestic alternatives, while others lose out to bigger competitors who can absorb the extra costs or negotiate better deals. The pain doesn't stop at the factory door, it spreads to families, affecting their daily lives and sense of security. Everyday goods, microwaves, clothes, toys, get pricier, making it harder for families to stretch their budgets. For those living paycheck to paycheck, even a 10% price hike on essentials is a real blow, forcing tough choices at the grocery store. Tariffs act as a hidden tax, hitting lower and middle-income families hardest, widening the gap between those who can absorb the costs and those who can't. Farmers got caught in the crossfire too, watching markets dry up and uncertainty grow. China retaliated by targeting US soybeans, devastating American agriculture and leaving crops with nowhere to go. Markets vanished, prices crashed, and family farms faced bankruptcy, threatening generations of hard work. Government aid helped some, but it's a band-aid, not a cure for the deeper wounds tariffs caused. The tariffs meant to protect American jobs ended up hurting the very people they were supposed to help, leaving communities searching for answers and stability. The 2020 now ban, amai, now the 2025. 5 tariff experiment became a harsh lesson in economic reality. The goal: protect American industries, cut the deficit, and show strength. The result: chaos, market turmoil, and diplomatic headaches. Instead of fixing vulnerabilities, tariffs expose them. The US can't function without imports. American businesses depend on global supply chains. Tariffs just made everything costlier. Other countries hit back, China with minerals, Canada with Reagan's words. Proving trade is a two-way street. Financial markets panicked, forcing Washington to retreat. The verdict: trade isn't a zero-sum game. Trying to win by building walls leaves everyone worse off. The US ended up with strained alliances, shaky markets, and no real solutions. The lesson: America thrives through global engagement, not isolation. Trying to go it alone is a recipe for economic self-harm.